Well, if you heard of the story of the gorilla and a 4-year-old kid, it was at a zoo and the kid fell inside the place where the gorilla was. It was a 4-year-old kid. So they shot the gorilla, right? I don't know how the kid got in there. The parents were idiots for letting the kid get in this enclosure because it must not have been easy, especially for a 4-year-old kid. But they shot the gorilla, which to me, I mean, no choice about the situation. I mean, yeah, it's a shame the gorilla had to be shot, but the gorilla's not going to say, "Hi, kid," one little whack and the kid's dead, right? So then what do? You shoot the gorilla anyway, right? So come on. I mean, if it could have attacked the kid, and then you would have shot the gorilla, and the kid might have died. So they're both dead. So, but you know what gets me is the number of brain dead people on the freaking internet are freaking siding with this gorilla. Like, this gorilla was out in the freaking jungle someplace, or whatever the hell he came from. I don't know, India or whatever, or Africa or whatever the gorilla's natural habitat is. A pretty green, lush vegetation area. They probably would have got freaking killed by somebody else, or something in the jungle. They already had a pretty damn long, nice life living in a freaking zoo. But, I guess that's not the point. But it's like, what the hell, man? I guess the mother should be charged for being careless with her kid because if she's not watching her kid to freaking jump over an enclosure, which is ridiculous, the kid could have easily walked out in the street if it was another situation, got run over by a bus, right? But as far as like killing a gorilla, I mean, there's no choice about it, man. What do you do? They didn't have tranquilizer guns on hand. They only had real bullets, right? I mean, nothing they could really do about it. But I just can't believe the number of people on the internet getting all freaking bent out of shape about the gorilla. And like that's you look at what's going on in the world. There's like freaking literally thousands of deaths going on, all these different types of wars all over the world, and also even in the United States with criminal drug lords and stuff, and the drugs being brought in even by the government itself, right? I mean, where the hell are these people? They just see this story and it takes off like wildfire. Oh, this gorilla got killed. What about people, man? What about people? You don't give a shit about people? If the whole world's blowing up, it's like if they show a puppy got hurt, they worry about the puppy, man. It's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. And the other thing is, I don't know if some people feel some kind of affinity to gorillas, maybe. I don't. I mean, I like cats, maybe, but not if they get really, really big. But I mean, suppose it was a gator. I mean, would you feel sorry for the gator then? Hi, Mr. Gator. I mean, you know what it is? People are living in a freaking little dream world with cartoons, and people are basically out of touch with reality. The internet has made things whereby people have absolutely no idea what the actual animal kingdom's like. Yeah, I know the animals have emotions and feelings and stuff, but for crying out loud, man, what are you gonna do about this kind of garbage? People are actually more concerned about this incident than all the things that are going on in the world right now. I mean, you got thousands of people in prisons in Laogai in China, and even in Russia. But boy, in the United States, big time. It's the biggest freaking prison per capita in the world in the USA, and you're worried about a freaking gorilla. I mean, God, what the hell's the matter with this freaking? It's just I don't even. It's not just the younger generation. It's everybody because everybody in the United States is insulated from reality for the most part. They see everything through multimedia presentations. They don't see anything through real life. They don't see how vicious. Now, an animal can actually, I'm not sure about a gator, but a lot of animals can actually get tame after a while. Depends on if they're in captivity. Yeah, and I'm sure the gorilla probably was pretty tame, maybe. I don't know. But, they felt that the gorilla could have been a major threat to the 4-year-old and killed the 4-year-old, or severely harmed the 4-year-old, or maybe resulted in some kind of injury to the 4-year-old where they would have killed the gorilla anyway, and the 4-year-old would have died or been brain damaged or permanently messed up for the rest of their life. So, I mean, what are you going to do, right? I mean, I guess the only people that probably have anything say so in that kind of matter, I think maybe are vegans. Because a vegan doesn't eat any animals, right? But if you go to Burger King or you eat fried chicken or something or whatever, or you even eat fish out of the ocean, I really can't see how you could be getting all bent out of shape about them killing a gorilla in that particular instance. It wasn't like they killed the gorilla in cold blood because there was absolutely no reason for it. So, and if it was a gator, would these same people be worried about the gator? I don't know. because I consider a gorilla to be pretty close to ferocity as a gator. Um, but it just tells you how brain dead our freaking culture has become. If there's ever an emergency in this country where people actually had to survive, like going back to the old skills from 150 to 200 years ago, none of them would survive. They'd all be dead. There's no doubt about it because they're living in a dream world. But what I could say, if President Obama was on hand, everybody's freaking hero, not everybody's hero. Actually, this guy's gotten to be very unpopular, but he's the hero of the liberal media or the communist media. President Obama was here. He was there on hand. He could have jumped over the thing and grabbed the kid and put him on the other side of the fence and stood there and fought the gorilla himself because he's our leader, right? Ha ha ha. Yeah, I'm sure he'd do that, right? To tell you the truth, this guy would have probably said, Secret Service, waste that freaking gorilla. That's exactly what he would have done. But I wonder if he's going to make comment on this. I mean, I think this requires presidential comment because you see how many freaking Twitter remarks were out there about this gorilla. I think President Obama ought to weigh in on the situation. Mr. Obama, if you were there and you had your Secret Service, would you told your Secret Service to waste that gorilla, or would you yourself jumped inside the pen and got the kid out? I doubt you would have ever done that because you're a coward. I wouldn't have done it. I would have shot the gorilla, then got the kid. But multiple times with that gorilla, man. I mean, like I wouldn't even shot him once. But that's what I would have done. I'm sorry, man. What the hell are you gonna do, man? I mean, crying out loud, he's not a person. I mean, even if it was a crazy person out to freaking kill the kid, what would you do? I mean, you kill the person, right? How do you know? I mean, it's not like freaking cartoon land, and that's what people think. And maybe that's why we get this leadership we got in our country because people are living in a dream world like cartoon land. The major media presents a bunch of garbage, and they buy it. You know, just like with Hillary Clinton and her freaking email server. That's it's like that's nothing. Yeah, God, man. You know what? I tell you the truth, the end is near, man. There's no doubt about it. The end is near because we could see what's going on throughout our whole society. Our whole society's turned into a bunch of idiots. And, if they ever came down to like having to survive in the old school ways, I mean, I would have a tough time doing that. But at least I'm aware of what I'd have to do. I'd have to kill animals to cook them and eat them to survive, or whatever the hell I'd have to do, because it wouldn't be enough time to grow food. And other people would just be going around, well, how come my debit card doesn't work? You know. So anyway, the new generations that are coming up, and actually the old generations that have already been corrupted for a long period of time, even since the 60s, people are living in a dream world of their own. And, this gorilla and a 4-year-old kid incident in the zoo is proving it. I mean, I just can't believe how many people freaking thought that that the 4-year-old kid should have been kept in danger and not to shoot the gorilla. What are you going to do? I mean, you're going to jump overboard and say, hi, gorilla, I'm going to take then the other guy, both would have got killed, What are you going to do? What are you going to do? No, there's no, you don't have time to be messing around with that kind of garbage, man. So, I don't know. But I can tell you right now, I mean, I am fairly liberal in a lot of ways. Because I think in a lot of times, this is my personal opinion, I mean, not all the time, but a lot of times the police do unjustifiably shoot people. And maybe you should be more concerned about that versus a gorilla in a zoo that could have been possibly killing a 4-year-old. There's been a lot of unjustified shootings by the police. And there's a lot of crime going on in this country between gangs and stuff. In the meantime, the most draconian laws are being implemented against the most law-abiding citizens in this country. And, they're fleecing them with fees. And, you use the subway turnstile without paying because you let somebody else use your 1-year subscription for subway use. And, the New York City police love to go after those type of people because they're easy to go after. But, if it's somebody more difficult, they leave them alone, right? So, I mean, you got other countries where they cut your head off for, not believing something. And you got other countries where if you criticize the leader of the country, you wind up in a gulag making parts for Apple computers and iPhones or something, right? Like in China or something. And, in this country, you wind up in jail for smoking a little weed like you freaking murdered somebody, right? So, I mean, people aren't worried about that. They're worried about this gorilla. So, I mean, what the hell? I mean, what does it take? Just a little media advertising? Well, you know what? Tell you the truth, sometimes I wonder because I look at some of the garbage that's trending on YouTube. Man, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but you know what? I got to be honest. And I think to myself, YouTube's not making these trends happen. The people are. And some of the stuff is the most ludicrous nonsense bullshit going. But it's just like anything, people just want to. That's the type of people we got. So that's the type of nation we got. That's the type of leaders we got. And that's the type of irrational thought we get when it comes to gorillas and 4-year-olds being in the same enclosure, and you're worried about the gorilla over the freaking 4-year-old kid. So there you go. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about this shit. I was like looking at this. I just could not believe the number of people are freaking siding with this gorilla, and I'm like, holy shit, God. President Obama, you need to talk about this. You need to talk about this in your next speech. What would you have done if you were there, if your Secret Service and a gorilla was there in the vicinity of a 4-year-old and possibly could have killed a 4-year-old? Would you have had your Secret Service waste the gorilla? I think you would have. Actually, you would have done the right thing. If you did that, I think I'd be agreeing with you. But for the first time in my life, I'd be agreeing with you, President Obama. But anyway, I don't know what Hillary would have done. She probably would have ignored it and went around somewhere else because she had something better and more important to do. And that would have been the response from Hillary. And Trump would have said to the gorilla, "You're fired." And I don't know if that would have worked. So anyway, that's my thought on that. So who the hell knows?